Good morning, guys. Welcome to the Liverpool FC Journal, guys. It's Champions League match day. Liverpool entertain PSV. Well, let's hope not they don't entertain them. Let's hope they smash them at Anfield tonight in the Champions League. 8 o'clock kickoff. It all gets underway. Lots of selection dilemmas, lots of things, obviously, for slots to think about ahead of that game. But we're going to look at some of the stories around the club this morning. We're going to look at some of what's coming up, obviously, and there's a fair few things this morning. And I've got to say, a lot of the press, and look, I'm not, if anyone criticises what I'm saying, I'm not sitting here and saying that we're weak. I'm not sitting here and saying that, that things are bad and dreadful and whatever. I'm just kind of sharing with you what the kind of view is at the moment outside of the club, that's coming even from people who've played for the club as regards, what's going on at this moment in time. We're going to talk Mo Salah. Is he selfish? And will we see a better Liverpool once he has gone to AFCON? And could he go early to AFCON? That has certainly been spoken about at the moment. We're going to talk Ibu Konate and his contract, how it's making Liverpool perhaps not look the strongest on that situation. And we're also going to talk about Liverpool's next manager, possibly. Hey, yes, that's a little bit of a hint there that there could be a change, maybe. Hey, let's get into it anyway. Look, let's first of all start about talking about obviously Mo Salah, and I think look, unless you are have your head in the sand and you are, I think, just part of what I term Salah FC. The people who see no bad in him no matter what. And there's a few of them out there. I've had a few fights with some of them online who genuinely don't think he is. It's his fault, or any of it is his fault, or that his form this season has been outstanding. I even read a comment the other day saying that someone thought that he was outstanding on Saturday against Forest. I don't think so in the slightest. His form this season has been poor. He's not registered an assist since the Everton game in the derby. In the league, he's only scored 2 goals in the league this season. His stats are not good at all. His form is not good at all, and his way of playing is not good at all. The manager seems unwilling to drop him, unwilling to hold him to account for his poor performances. And I think, look at any other player. If this was Curtis Jones, he'd be getting absolute pelters by now from a lot of the fan base who treat him in a pretty shitty way. And I think he'd be dropped. If this was anyone else, he'd be out of the side. But I think Salah seems to be bulletproof. My personal opinion is that Arne Slot is scared of Mo Salah. That Mo Salah is Slot's boss to some degree, and that Slot doesn't want to ever question him or cross him. Slot's not strong enough to deal with these big personalities in the dressing room. Jamie Carragher was speaking about the Mo Salah situation the other day, and he said that basically, you only ever hear from Mo when he gets man of the match or he scores goals in games. You never hear from Mo at any other time. Yet you'd expect him to be a leader. You'd expect him to be the one who comes out and speaks when things are not going well, try and pull things together. And I think that's a key question. Is someone like Mo Salah showing leadership at this point in time? The team is going through a very, very bad patch. And one of the things that's always levelled at Mo, and I think, because of the fact that at times he doesn't pass the ball when he should, ballooning the ball over the bar, cutting on his left foot, trying to score a worldie, or the Frankfurt incident where he should have passed to Wirtz. People level it, that he's a bit selfish, that it's all about him, that it's about him chasing personal records, and that he's not really interested in the team. He's just all about Mo Salah. It's something that's levelled him by some people outside the club. And he's certainly not helping himself with the way he is playing and performing at this moment in time. Now, Salah goes off to AFCON, obviously, and he will miss up to 6 weeks of the season, depending on how well Egypt do. Obviously, if Egypt progress, then he will miss more. If Egypt get knocked out early, then he will be back early. Some Liverpool fans will be hoping that Egypt do really well and he goes all the way, and that he's gone for a number of weeks. I certainly heard some interesting comments as regards Mo Salah from some saying that they do hope that he does go, that he do hope that he does have a long time at AFCON. Jamie Carragher also said, he only speaks when he wants a new contract and when he wants something for him, and it's all about him rather than about the team. And I think, Carragher was always a team guy, wasn't he? Carragher was always someone who was all about the team. So it's interesting, these comments that comes from him. Like he said, so the exact comment was, when he needs a new contract here or he wins man of the match, that's when we hear from him. Look, Salah could be released early for the Egyptian national team. Now, they've got friendlies before that the AFCON tournament starts and a training camp as well, which means he could miss the Brighton game in the league. The Hossam Hassan, who is the Egypt manager, is in talks apparently with Liverpool over getting Salah out of Liverpool early to go and link up with his Egyptian teammates. Look, my personal opinion on this is maybe it's the right time to allow him to go early, to give Liverpool a chance to perhaps look at a world post Salah. You know, I think even those members of Salah FC need to start to realise that this player is 33 years old. He is not a player for the long term, and we need to start to build this team around the likes of Ekitike, of Viet, of Isak, who are going to be here for the long term. Salah may be here for 12 more months. I actually believe he will leave in the summer and go to Saudi in the summer. I honestly believe he will not be here next season. But we need to start to prepare for a world without Salah. We need to start to prepare to look at it. Now, obviously, it will present an interesting dilemma if Liverpool suddenly find form and play well, and whoever comes in to replace him does a good job. Now, whether that be Antoine Semenyo, signed in January, or that be Fede Chiesa, or Hugo Ekitike going out to the wing, I don't know. You know, I'm not the manager. It's not down to me to pick the team. But, you know, maybe, just maybe, the team find form. And then, obviously, that provides an interesting dilemma for Arne Slot. Once Salah returns, does he automatically walk back into the team? Well, my argument would be if Liverpool are winning, then no, he shouldn't. That no player has a divine right to play for this club, despite what the members of Salah FC might tell you. Right, guys, let me know your thoughts on that one. Right, look, the whole situation, we'll come to Julian Nagelsmann in a minute. Look, Ibu Konate, right, now, according to Fabrizio Romano and several others, the contract is on the table for Ibu Konate. I personally wouldn't give him a new contract. I think he's been disgusting this season. I think he doesn't deserve a new contract. His form has just been absolutely appalling. I think we should ship him on in January, I really do. I think we should get rid of him and replace him with the likes of Gueye or Schlotterbeck, or, you know, bring in at least two centre halves, I think, to replace him. You know, if let's say next season we were to go into next season, I don't think Joe Gomez will be here either. With Virgil van Dijk, Mark Guehi, one of, say, Schlotterbeck, Bastoni, Upamecano or someone like that, and Giovanni Leone, that gives us four very, very good centre-backs to go forward with. Now, according to the reports, the contract is on the table. It is now up to the player to sign that contract. Now, to me, this is giving the player way too much power. Why are we not standing up to the player and saying, right, you will sign it by this date? If you do not sign it by the date, the contract is off the table and you will be sold in January. And if you refuse to go in January, you'll ride the bench for the rest of the season and then see if you get into the France World Cup squad, which you want to do. Because I'll tell you something, if Konate is little more than a squad player and a sub for the rest of the season, say we buy someone in January, which I think would make this possible, then he ain't going to make the France squad. Trust me, the competition at that level for French national team is exceptionally tough. Konate needs to realise this is a two-way street. It's not all about him. It's about this club. It's about him doing the right thing for Liverpool Football Club. And like I said, you know, if he does not sign that new contract, we should be looking to move him on in January. And if he refuses to move, then we put him on the bench and we say, right, ride the bench and see if you make the French World Cup squad with a lack of match sharpness and a lack of game time. Play hardball. You know, for too long now, I think, you know, it happened last season with Trent. You know, we are looking weak with players. We are looking like the players have power. And people can say, oh, players do have all the power. They do to some extent, yes, but there are ways and means of working that. And you'll see stronger managers who have in the past turned round to players and said, right, ride the bench, see how you get on then. You don't play until you do what I ask you to do, and then see what happens. And I think that is entirely possible. And Arne Slot needs to show, and Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards as well, all need to show a pair of balls when it comes to this man and tell him, sign the deal or you're going to suffer. That has to be the way it goes forward. Anyway, look, let's move it along a little bit. Now, stories in Germany today around this man, the German national team manager, Julian Nagelsmann. Now, see, Nagelsmann is under contract to the German national team until 2028. However, according to a number of reports in Germany, Liverpool have held tentative talks with the Nagelsmann's people over him possibly becoming the Liverpool manager once the World Cup is over. With opportunity then that Arne Slot would take over as German, and Arne Slot, that Jurgen Klopp, wrong manager, would take over as the German national team manager. Now, this may be just people putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5, etc., etc. But this is seemingly what is going round at this moment in time. Now, nothing is concrete on this. Nothing is secure on this. It is merely talk. It is merely rumour and counter-rumour that is going round. But these reports are coming from fairly reliable sources within the German media. You know, from people who actually know what they're talking about in Germany. Now, some people are dismissing this. Some people are saying that there's no truth in it. Personally, my opinion on this would be that if Arne Slot continues in the vein that he's continued, and I think there is a frustration there from FSG, you know, with the amount of money they've spent this summer over the form of, you know, of the team and how we're performing, that there could very really be a situation where succession planning is taking place. You know, look, at the end of the day, every good football club around the world puts succession planning in place so that if they get rid of someone, they know that this player or this manager is available next, that this is who they go for next. You know, Nagelsmann is a man who has, you know, obviously his coaching experience has all come in Germany. He's with Hoffenheim, Leipzig, and Bayern Munich. You know, that's where he was. That's where he's coached all his career. So it would obviously take some adaptation to come across to England and to coach in England. You know, he spent 3 years at Hoffenheim, he spent 2 years with Leipzig, and he spent 2 years with Bayern Munich before becoming the German national team manager in 2023. In terms of his managerial stats, you know, look, they're not massively impressive, I suppose. TSG Hoffenheim 40.4%, RB Leipzig 56.84%, Bayern Munich 71.43%, German national team 58.6%. He won the Bundesliga in 21-22 with Bayern Munich. He won the German Super Cup in 21 and 22. He was coach of the season in Germany in 2016-2017, German Football Manager of the Year in 2017. So, you know, his record is not amazing, but it's not terrible, you know, and certainly there are some sort of correlations between the way he likes to play and his record and Jurgen Klopp before he came to Liverpool. So, you know, look, an interesting link nonetheless. Now, I'm not saying there's any truth in this. I mean, let me know your thoughts. Would you like Julian Nagelsmann as the next manager of Liverpool, or do you think there's someone more suitable? But I'm going to address just one thing. You know, one of the things that's always aimed at people who say that Arne Slot needs to go or Arne Slot needs to be sacked is this. The people say, well, who would you have next? You tell me, who would you have next? And this is why I'm going to answer that. It's not my job. It ain't my job to appoint the next manager. My job as a fan is to watch the team and to support the team and to criticise players' performances and managers' performances when they need criticising. It's not my job to buy players. It's not my job to appoint managers. Yes, I may have people that I like and I may give opinions on people I think could be good at the job. But at the end of the day, I don't know who's available. I don't know who's interested because you know what? I work full time. I work 45, 50 hours a week. I don't have a massive scouting network across the world who speaks to coaches and players or you know, that Liverpool do. So to aim that at people, I think is just the last desperations of the happy clap brigade, which I think, you know, there are an element of within the fan base. But yeah, interesting. I mean, personally, you know, Nagelsmann would be on my list. Iriola would be on my list. Glasner would be on my list. You know, certainly some interesting names there. I mean, if people talk about what would you do for the rest of the season, you know, you could go with an interim manager to the end of the season until Nagelsmann is available if things get really bad. Now, look, tonight there has to be a victory. Tonight there has to be a win. And Saturday there has to be a win. If we don't win the next 2 games, then the noose around Slot's neck tightens in my estimations, and the ice that he's skating on gets thinner and thinner. It is what it is. The expectations are clear at this football club. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed the content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching the Liverpool FC Journal. I'll catch you on the next one.